Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the heart of Hermetic wisdom, exploring one of its most profound and mysterious texts. The Discourse on the 8th and 9th, this ancient dialogue found within the Nag Hammadi library, isn't just a philosophical treatise. It's a practical guide to spiritual ascent, a roadmap for the soul's journey beyond the physical world. So, what exactly are the 8th and the 9th? In the Hermetic worldview, our reality is structured in a series of celestial spheres, often visualized as concentric circles around the Earth. The first 7 spheres are ruled by the planets of classical astrology: the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These represent the material cosmos, the realm of fate and physical limitation. Our souls, according to this tradition, are believed to descend through these spheres at birth, picking up planetary influences and passions along the way. The goal of the Hermetic practitioner, or the Gnostic, is to reverse this process to ascend back through these spheres, shedding the layers of worldly attachment and ignorance. This is where the Discourse on the 8th and 9th becomes so crucial. The text presents a dialogue between a spiritual master, Hermes Trismegistus, and his initiate, who could be his son Tat or perhaps Asclepius. The initiate has already mastered the knowledge of the 7 planetary spheres and now yearns to ascend higher. He is ready for the next stage of initiation. The 8th sphere, known as the Ogdoad, lies just beyond the planetary realm of Saturn. It's the sphere of the fixed stars, a realm of pure intellect and spiritual being. To reach the 8th is to transcend the world of fate, to move beyond the deterministic pull of the planets and enter a state of higher consciousness. The text describes this ascent not as a physical journey, but as an internal transformation. It requires intense spiritual preparation, purification, and a deep contemplative stillness. It's about silencing the senses and the restless mind to perceive what lies beyond. Hermes guides the initiate through a series of prayers and invocations, which are a form of theurgy divine work. This isn't just about asking for favors. It's about attuning the soul to the vibrations of the higher realms. The initiate is taught to call upon the powers that govern the 8th sphere, to praise them, and to open himself to their influence. The language used is beautiful and powerful, filled with hymns that aim to elevate the consciousness of the practitioner. The experience is described as one of overwhelming joy, a vision of pure light and a chorus of celestial beings singing praises. The soul, upon entering the Ogdoad, joins this divine choir, finally free from the cacophony of the material world. But the journey doesn't end there. Beyond the 8th lies the 9th sphere, the Ennead. This is the ultimate goal, the dwelling place of God, the supreme good and the One. The Discourse describes the 9th in even more abstract and reverent terms. It is a realm beyond intellect, beyond being itself. It is pure unity, a state of complete absorption into the divine source. Reaching the 9th is the final stage of gnosis, or divine knowledge, where the individual soul recognizes its own divine origin and merges back with it. The text emphasizes that this isn't something that can be fully described in words. When the initiate finally experiences the 9th, he falls silent, overcome by the ineffable vision. Hermes explains that this silence is the truest form of praise, the highest form of knowledge. The self is dissolved, and all that remains is the pure, blissful consciousness of the One. What makes the Discourse on the 8th and 9th so fascinating is its blend of different philosophical and religious traditions. We can clearly see the influence of Platonism, particularly Middle Platonism, in its cosmology and its concept of the soul's ascent towards the good. The idea of a structured, hierarchical universe with a transcendent, singular God at its peak is a core Platonic idea. At the same time, the text has strong parallels with Gnosticism, which is why it was preserved in the Nag Hammadi library, a collection of primarily Gnostic Christian texts. The Gnostic theme of escaping the flawed material world, ruled by lesser powers or archons, often identified with the planetary rulers, and returning to a higher spiritual home, is central to the Discourse. The emphasis on gnosis, or secret, revealed knowledge, as the key to salvation is another powerful link. However, unlike some Gnostic systems that view the material world as inherently evil and created by a malevolent demiurge, the Hermetic perspective in this text is generally more positive. The cosmos is not a prison to be despised, but a ladder to be climbed, a divine creation that, while limiting, ultimately serves as the training ground for the soul. The practical aspect of the text, its theurgic practices, also connects it to later mystical traditions like Neoplatonism. where figures like Iamblichus argued that rituals and divine names were essential for uniting the soul with the gods. The hymns and prayers in the Discourse are not just philosophical musings. They are active tools for spiritual transformation. They are meant to be performed, to be vibrated with intent, creating a sympathetic resonance between the practitioner and the celestial powers. So, how can we apply this ancient wisdom today? While we may not share the exact cosmological model of the ancient Hermeticists, the core message of the Discourse remains incredibly relevant. The journey through the seven spheres can be seen as a metaphor for mastering our own internal planets, our passions, our ego, our attachments, and our limiting beliefs. The ascent to the eighth is the act of stepping into a higher state of awareness, what we might today call mindfulness, contemplative insight, or a transpersonal state of consciousness. It's about finding that place of inner stillness beyond the noise of daily life. The experience of the ninth represents the ultimate goal of many spiritual paths: unity consciousness, enlightenment, or what mystics of all traditions call the union with the divine. It's the realization that we are not separate, isolated beings, but part of a greater, interconnected whole. The text teaches us that this realization isn't achieved through intellectual study alone. It requires dedication, purification of the heart and mind, and a willingness to surrender the ego. The Discourse on the eighth and ninth is a timeless masterpiece of spiritual literature. It reminds us that there is more to reality than what our five senses can perceive. It offers a structured path for those who feel a deep longing to explore the inner cosmos and discover their own divine nature. It's a call to look up from the world of shadows and ascend towards the light of true being. Whether you see it as a historical document, a Gnostic manual, or a metaphor for personal growth, its wisdom continues to resonate through the ages, inviting us to begin our own journey to the eighth and the ninth. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. If you found this exploration of Hermetic wisdom fascinating, please hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the world of ancient philosophy and esoteric knowledge. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Soul's journey, or if there are other ancient texts you'd like to explore. Until next time, keep questioning and keep seeking.